What's up, you beautiful bastards? The holidays are over, and I'm back again with another video. I want to talk about Dragonflight, how it's been so far now that it's been over a month since its release, talking about the raid, and above all, class balance and where it's currently at. So if you've been hesitant, this is the video to check out if you're wondering if the game's any good. Anyway, let's do the drop, and then let's just get into it.
I am Raziel.
And we're back, guys. The holidays are over. You beautiful bastards, I hope everything went your way for the holidays, and you got what you wanted, didn't get what you didn't want, and hopefully things are on the up and up. Hair's long again. We'll see how long that lasts, but here we are. We're over a month into Dragonflight. I've been running a guild and a raid again. I said I wouldn't do this again, but here I am, being a raid leader and a guild leader once again. And we are almost done with Heroic raid. We've cleared normal several times. We're almost done with Heroic. We casually raid twice a week. So what are my thoughts on Dragonflight overall before we get into balance? First and foremost, it's been great. It's been fantastic. Is it the best WoW expansion ever? That remains to be seen. I'm going to go ahead and say no. I don't think anything can really subvert or take the crown from Burning Crusade or Wrath of the Lich King in my book. But it's definitely a lot of fun and a breath of fresh air for WoW. So if you have been out of the game for a long time or never tried the game and have been super hesitant to play the game, I would say give it a shot. It's been a lot of fun, and the fact that there's no borrowed power systems in the game, that's really been the biggest draw for me. The crafting system, though it can be confusing and a little convoluted, is actually quite a huge improvement over what it has been in the past. Professions actually matter now. People actually use them. They're useful. So yeah, it's come a long way. The raid, the dungeons themselves, the new dungeons, they're okay. Are they some of the best dungeons ever put in the game? No. Are they terrible? No. What about the raid? The raid is fun. It's good overall. It's kind of light on lore. I don't really care much about the lore in this raid, and for the look of a lot of the gear pieces, but again, that's just subjective, my personal view. But the raid is fun. It's a good raid. Is it, the best raid? No. Like Ulduar. Look at Ulduar, for me, was the pinnacle of WoW raiding. And I know that's about to come out in Wrath of the Lich King Classic, though I will not be playing it most likely. I might fuck around a little bit, but not really in my plans at the moment. As far as class balance, now this is something I wanted to talk about, and as you can see on the screen now, there's shit to talk about. It's notorious in the past for Blizzard to have very poor balancing at the launch of an expansion and throughout the first patch of an expansion. It's an uphill battle for them for the entirety of the expansion. Now, do I think that this is the worst it's been? Absolutely not. Shadowlands at launch was way worse than this. A couple of other expansions as well. Some expansions' balance was terrible. The whole expansion. This is in a much better place, as we'll get into here in a bit. And again, I'm going to reiterate, there'll never be an MMORPG that's perfectly balanced. It won't ever exist. And I think if it did exist, it would be extremely boring. What would be the point of picking any class if they were all homogenized and the same? I don't know what that would be like, but it would be terrible. Anyway, moving on to here, because these classes all have very different play styles, and obviously there's going to be potential and a higher ceiling for certain specs in a class than others, because others are harder to play or easier to play. And I think if it's harder to play, the payoff should be higher if you are doing well. That's not always the case, and it certainly isn't the case with some of this, but in others, it is. The new talent systems that are brought in have made it much easier for Blizzard to balance things. Even now, in the upcoming patch in the next couple weeks, Druid is once again getting another overhaul because the talents just aren't working out for them. So we're going to see how that plays out. There are some talent changes as well for Rogue, and we're going to see what happens. But this is a much easier solution than as opposed to previous expansions like Shadowlands, for example, where the devs had to balance the ability itself, the talent itself, then they had to balance it, how it interacts with the legendary. There are no legendaries in this expansion, and then balance it out with the covenant that you chose, all the covenants. It was just a mess. None of that has to happen now, so Blizzard has a much easier time of doing this. Now, let's look at I don't want to look at the 95th percentile, but I do want to look at overall statistics. So overall damage, let's pull this up here. As you can see, there's 3 outliers on the top, but not by far. Not huge outliers, because you look at the highest potential that was ever hit with said spec over here. But this is the range most people are in, with this being obviously the median there. But as you can see, you compare these, they're all really close. So even though, for example, Unholy Death Knight is 4th on the list, its potential is higher, about on the same level as Arcane for its high, and its absolute ridiculous, you know, offshoot clear out here above everybody else. But we're going to look at these bars, the middle bars, and the potential here are what I'm most interested in. So you can see overall it's pretty balanced until you have little sections here. So here, this being kind of the first section, these 3. Then you come down here, this is another section where they're all really close. And then you come down, I would even go into the Demon Hunter there. Then you come down here, this is where the biggest gap occurs again, but it's pretty stable all the way down to here. Then you have 3 outliers, and it's super unfortunate that 2 mage specs are down here. Which is, you know, not the greatest thing ever, but you also have, you know, Warlock, Destruction Warlock at the bottom, but I haven't played Warlock this expansion, and Destruction has notoriously been the easiest, most brain dead of the 3 specs to play. I don't know if it still is, but this is not okay, and it should be and will be brought up. But overall, the balance is quite good. The fact that, you know, all 3 rogue specs are near the top is kind of a problem in my opinion, but is it the worst thing in the world? No. Now let's move into this. The first one was overall, let me exit out of this. The first one was overall damage. This one is damage to bosses. So this is mostly single target. There are some bosses in the raid that have a lot of dots, and I mean, not dots, my bad. A lot of adds, but there are far more single target fights there. And you see again, Unholy Decay, Assassination Rogue, and Arcane really go way ahead of everybody else. But then everyone else, for the most part, is fairly close. They're fairly close, with Windwalker kind of being a bad outlier there for single target on a boss. And there are changes. Some changes just came in yesterday for Frost Mage, Fury Warrior, and Windwalker, I believe, are getting some changes, or got them yesterday. A couple came in yesterday, a couple are on the horizon. But the balance overall has been a lot better. Now, you look at PvP. I haven't really stepped into PvP yet this season. I'm going to, but I imagine the disparities in PvP are going to be worse, as they always are. There are some specs that are just not viable in PvP, and that's always how rated PvP has been in World of Warcraft. I'll cover that in another video once I dip my feet into it. But overall balance has been quite good when you compare it to other expansions. Is it the best? No. Is it the worst? Absolutely not. It's been so much worse than this. So I have to give credit to where credit is due. Right now, Dragonflight, Blizzard's done a great job with this expansion. They've posted, in the first time in forever, an actual roadmap for the expansion. This is something Blizzard has not done in the past, and this is fucking amazing. So as you see right now, 10.0.5 comes out in a week or 2, and that's going to add the trading post, which is the new great addition to the game, which is going to add a lot more cosmetics, recoloring of old items from past expansions. So people that are really into, you know, transmog, this is for you. Primalist Tomorrow event, and white and gray transmog. I'm not 100% sure. We haven't had a lot of details on that yet. And then in the spring, which is just around the corner, we get patch 10.0.7, which where we return to the Forbidden Reach. The Forbidden Reach is the launch zone for Drakthir. Human and Orc Heritage Armor, long time coming. WoW's been out 18 years now, and we're just getting the Heritage Armor for the 2 main races of the game. But hey, beggars can't be choosers. Holiday updates. Then Season 2, patch 10.1 will hit before summer. Still in the spring, probably late spring, right before summer, where we get a new zone, a new raid, a new PvP season, new Mythic Plus dungeon pool, which again, the 4 dungeons, all the dungeons in the Mythic Plus pool change every season, which keeps it fresh. And then profession updates and even more UI improvements. And the new UI has been amazing. It's been a huge improvement already, and they're going to continually add to it. And then you see we have the summer, fall with the Mega Dungeon, you know, more stories and quests, system updates, and then Season 3, patch 10.2 will be probably late fall, early winter, next holiday season, where we get another raid. Will that be the last raid? We don't know, but we will see. Anyway, guys, this has gone on longer than I intended it to. The bottom line is World of Warcraft Dragonflight is in a very good spot. The balance is really good. Still needs improvement, but it's getting there. I'll have whole other opinion and video about PvP once I dive into it. But also, if you're hesitant, I'd say give it a shot. If you haven't played WoW for a long time or never played, now's the time for sure. Leveling has been faster than it's ever been, and it's just really easy to jump in and start playing with people, and me and my friends are having a blast. So anyway, guys, I know I was trying to transition to YouTube primarily for streaming, but there's been a lot of issues with it, between being demonetized for music and other things to tons of rampant bots that are hard to control. I've decided to stay for now on Twitch, so I do still stream on Twitch twice a week. Tuesdays and Thursdays primarily. Twitch link is up there now in the evenings. What time exactly? I don't have a set time schedule because it varies, and I eventually will again, but as of now, Tuesdays and Thursdays, evenings. Mountain Standard Time, usually around 6, but that varies. Anyway, guys, I really appreciate it. I appreciate you guys and all your support, and if you found this video helpful, please give it a like. Gives me it does at least help out the terrible, shitty YouTube algorithm. But if you enjoyed the content, comment down below. If you don't, comment down below and go fuck yourself. And as always, my friends, keep it real.